This is E-Commerce Uncensored. Brought to you by Fast Forward Unlimited. We're coming to you fully loaded and exposed with all the strategies and techniques for growing your e-commerce business.
Hey everyone, and thank you for joining us on another episode of E-Commerce Uncensored. This is episode number 49. I am Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso.
And behind the scenes is Paulie Chu.
Woo!
Recording on Instagram story as we speak. So today, first I wanted to mention that for those of you who have been listening and hearing us talk about this e-commerce store that we're going to be building, the campinglifegear.com, I just want to let you know that we're definitely going to get back into that. We are doing some preliminary research on some products, but we've, through this podcast and through our message that we're getting out, we're getting a lot of client interest, and we've been doing a lot of work for those people. And that, with our studio, that's our main focus. So it's a bit of a, as entrepreneurs, Jason knows this, we get into a lot of different things. And we say we're going to do a lot of different things, and we want to do a lot of different things, but sometimes it's just, the time aspect of it gets difficult.
Our clients have to come first. I mean, it's
exactly.
just the way it is. And right now, we've made a concerted effort to really work with clients that we enjoy working with, and for whatever reason, the podcast, getting the message out, we're really working with a lot of cool people, and that just has to take priority over anything new that we do, because that's how we stay here.
Yeah, and it's really great. Over the last year or so, we've been put in a position where we can pick and choose who we want to work with, and we want people that are enthusiastic about the things we do, people who are, really happy about the results they get. So it's nice to be in that position, because it wasn't always like that. We were kind of in a position where we kind of just had to bring everyone on, try to get the results for everybody, and that's almost sometimes impossible to just get results for everybody, because it really depends on a lot of different factors. So, but that's beside the point. I just want to let you guys know that we're going to get back on the Camping Gear Life story. The store is still running. We're still doing a little bit of digging, and it's just, like I said, with families, with the client work and everything, time is kind of at a minimum for us right now. So
now talking about this client thing, what we're going to do today is a little bit different than we've pretty much the episodes that we've done up until this point. We're really getting excited, and when I say we're getting excited, I've been doing this for 13 years. Kevin's been doing it for 13 years, right? 12, 10,
15 years.
15 years.
In different aspects, from graphic design, web design, and now more in the marketing, but yeah.
And, email has been our focus lately, and it's not something new, right? Everybody knows email is powerful. Everybody knows email is is the way to grow, your revenue, your audience, all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of hype about Facebook, right? And Facebook ads. We do Facebook ads, and we're excited about Facebook ads. But, things I feel like are starting to evolve a little bit. And what I mean by that is that, Facebook was a new kid on the block. Everybody was excited about Facebook, and Facebook's great. Don't get me wrong. We love Facebook. But the challenge with Facebook is the results sort of take time. And depending on what you're selling, the strategy is completely different, right? And it's challenging to get people to stick through that process. When I say people, I mean our clients, right? You get them on board with Facebook, it doesn't work right away.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of times within the last year or so, we were focused on getting people to get involved with Facebook ads. But it's really hard to, take them on to the next level of, say, email or something else with Facebook ad, because Facebook ad is a long-term strategy. So in order to get the results faster and get them enthusiastic about the whole web marketing thing, email is really where you should start, especially if you have, a medium to large size list.
Yeah, even small lists. We're going to go over a case study today with a client who actually has a small list, and we've gotten huge results with them. And truthfully, this client was like a wild card. We really didn't know what the results were going to be, but we're going to go through that. But my point was that as excited as we are about Facebook, one of our challenges as a like a studio or as doing client work is that we need to get results as quickly as possible, right? Like nobody wants to invest thousands of dollars in Facebook and email and all these other services and wait around for results.
Right. Even though they say they will, or they'll be patient, it really never is that easy because it is a hard pill to swallow.
Right. So, we've really been shifting our focus in terms of like, how can we get our clients results as quickly as possible? And really, it seems to be on the email side. It seems that most people, even though they know that email is the most powerful marketing platform in the world, and I don't care like what anybody says. I mean, Facebook is powerful when you get it. It just takes time to get there. But email, I mean, we can literally today have, $5,000 a month in sales, and tomorrow have $20,000 dollars in sales for that month just by sending an email. So, we want to talk about a particular case study here, or a client that we had that we've really had some awesome results, and I think, Kev, that I want to preface this by saying one thing that we've learned is that we can't prejudge the client, right? Like it's easy to get like a big name in here and say, oh, this is awesome, we're going to do well. It's a little harder when you get like somebody that you go to their website and it's like they haven't done any work to it. It's not optimized for mobile. That's a little bit of a scarier situation. But what we found is that if you use, these 5 keys that we keep talking about, and even like the last episode we talked about it, if you use these 5 keys, like, man, like the sky is really the limit. And prejudging what the success of a campaign is going to be is really something that we've kind of learned because, what we're about to talk about is just off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I think when we first got introduced to this client, we had our doubts for sure, and we were, second guessing whether this was the right thing to do or if it was time for them.
Fit for us.
But this goes back to the point of like working with the right people. Like the people of this company, and we're going to leave the name of the company out and the specifics of it.
It's not important.
Yeah, it's not important, but they're just so great people and so enthusiastic, and they came to us with, we know that email is the way to go. And we know we need to move on to that next step. They've been in business for several years, and she was just psyched to get going, and it just made us more enthusiastic about getting them results.
Yeah, and the best part is we always tell new clients that typically it could take up to 45 days to see any results. We like to give ourselves a buffer, and we don't want to set expectations too high. So there is a little bit of a learning curve, learning what the client wants to see. I'm sorry, the customers want to see, what offers work and what offers don't, that sort of thing. But this particular client came to us, and they've never sent out one email, right? They didn't even send a email out. So this was like another thing where like, man, like they're going to give us this list that we don't know anything about. We don't know how responsive. We don't know how they're going to respond. And they told us not to expect. And this is like the funny part, right?
Yeah.
They came to us and said, don't expect this to work like your B2C clients, because B2B, we know that it's a timing thing, and these companies may not need our product when we send the email out. And so that was like another thing.
Which is the opposite of what we ever hear from our clients. I mean, so it was really refreshing.
They are a delight to work with. It's like, but that's, again, besides the point. So they came to us, never sent an email out. They don't even have an email platform. They're giving us a list of clients over the last 2 years. They don't even know how active they are, how good the list is. They know nothing about the list. and we know nothing about the list.
Yeah, we didn't have any. I mean, we had some data. We had some old purchase history, but not really enough to tell what they're going to buy, if they're going to buy. So it was kind of a little bit of a shot in the dark. So we just took, like Jason said, these 5 keys that we always talk about. And you'll see as we go through this strategy, you'll see those 5 keys pop up along the way.
Yeah, so the first thing that we do is once we get a client on board, we're not into contracts. We don't force anybody to work with us. We want people to want to work with us. So once we get a client on board, they pay us. 9 times out of 10, we just kind of start, right? And the first thing we do is start building out the sequence. Now, there has been, I would say, over the last couple months, I've seen like a big push of people talking about automations not being. In fact, I posted something on one of the Facebook groups that I was in, asking for, what's the best email platform for, supplements, like for a supplement company, and somebody's like, don't do automation.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. I mean, I ignore that because that's nonsense. But the point is that we built a sequence. It was a pretty elaborate sequence, actually.
Yeah.
I had no idea how it was going to work.
I don't even know how you did that. Came up with that all by yourself.
All by myself.
He's amazing. He's going to tell you that along the way. Just be prepared for it. He's amazing.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so I built out this automation. And just so you guys know that, we try our best not to talk about theory, right? Like, we think this is what you should do, or we think that's what you should do. We actually take what we talk about and we apply it. And I took the 5 keys and I basically did exactly what we talk about in our PDF or in our ebook or whatever. What do we call it?
The cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet.
Yeah. If you get that cheat, it's cheating. So and you can get that on the website. What's the URL?
I forget.
Okay.
E-commerceuncensored.com.
Right. And you can get the cheat sheet there somehow.
It'll pop up eventually.
Right.
Or it'll be in the blog post or something.
So the first layer is always coming up with the creative, right? Like, what are we going to? What's the offer? And then how are we gonna present the offer? In this particular case, the client told us that humor plays a big part in this niche that they were in. So we came up with a really cute sort of email, right?
Well, we also had to introduce the fact that this business is starting an email campaign. We wanted to do that. We wanted to say welcome. So we made a welcome statement in the email as well.
And we wanted to get them excited.
We wanted to ease them into it. We just didn't want to throw an offer in their face and be like, oh, great, this company is going to start selling me shit all the time now. So we wanted to make it easy, an easy transition into a new marketing arena for them. And from what we got from the client, the audience was a specific demographic. It seemed like they were a little bit of an older crowd.
They didn't use email much.
Yeah, so
that was like the best part about it.
The worst thing you can do is just pop like a newsletter in front of someone's face and annoy them right off the bat and think they're going to get sold to. So, we made it very light.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I want to just say that when you send an email out to a list that's not expecting an email from you, always within the first couple lines, give them the opportunity to unsubscribe. It's better to have people unsubscribe than it is to have them mark you as spam. So we did exactly what Kevin did. We created this welcome email. Hey everybody, this is an exciting time for us. We're starting an email newsletter. It's going to give you special offers, some funny videos, whatever. If you are not interested, and this was like the second line, if you're not interested in receiving this sort of stuff, click here to unsubscribe.
I think he said something like, if funny stuff is not your thing.
Yeah, well, if saving money and funny stuff is not your thing, unsubscribe.
Which is a good way to word it, which I liked. So.
Yeah, so we did that, and basically it just eased them into the newsletter, right?
Right, and then we eased the offer, and we created a graphic in the email that was funny, entertaining. a little tongue in cheek, and then we presented the first offer to them.
Yeah, and I want to one thing I just want to address is that we had about 3 to 4 emails. I don't remember. Maybe it was 3 in the entire sequence, but we had different if-then statements. So if they open it and they don't click the ad, do this. If they don't open it, do that. But we saw a stark distinction between the subject lines and the open rates.
Yeah.
Right? So we had an average of about 40% open rate on the overall automation. And the email that did the best was, "Did you forget?" That one had like a 45% or something crazy like that. 45 to 50% open rate.
What was the first email subject line?
Your first treat or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. It was like, surprise. And
again, like that's just going back to the 5 keys. That's like just don't let them make that decision to open with the subject line. So we made it very open-ended, very intriguing, created some curiosity in the subject line. So
yeah, I mean, I think the open rates ranged. Again, now as you're going through a sequence, usually the more emails that you send, the open rates start going down. However, in this particular automation, the biggest one, I believe, was the second one, which is, "Did you forget?" But the open rates were huge, right? When we were reporting this back to the client, like, I was going through these numbers. I'm like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, which we weren't expecting, especially with the audience that they told us they were in front of, which takes us back to a point where not to determine what's going to happen. You never know.
You never know. But I will say that those 5 keys certainly played a part, and I'll tell you why. In one of the emails, when we first sent it out, we forgot to add a call to action in the email. Right?
Yeah, I think we were going through the numbers, and we were looking through, and we'll get back to the click-through rates in a second, but it was funny. We were just looking through. We were seeing these huge open rates and these really low, not that low, but
yeah, no, it was 0.4%.
It was really low click-through rates, and all of a sudden I hear, like, I think Jason pound his hand on the table, and I turn around and he's like, "We forgot to put a friggin' call to action in the email."
Right, and that's like one of the 5 keys. If you guys haven't downloaded it, you should. That was one of the keys, is have a call to action. So the next email, we went back in there and we put a call to action in there, and instantly the click-through rate jumped from 0.4% to, I believe, 11.4%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like ridiculous, right? 11.4 from 0.4. So that call to action is so important. That's one of the keys. The subject line is another key. The click-through rate, which it was we had a total of 6% click-through rate throughout the entire automation. And I think that first email screwed up the numbers. I think it would have been much higher than that. It was just that email got such a low click-through rate.
Well, I think another good thing that we did is when we saw the original click-through rates in the email, we were like, this isn't right. Like, this isn't successful. This isn't doing what it's supposed to do. And then I just logged into the back end and I saw these orders coming in. And I was like, whoa. Like, wow, this is incredible. So it turned out that people were, calling, and they were placing their order with their call center or whatever they do, and they were using the coupon code that we used. So we're like, holy shit. And then we also added to the next round of emails, because we saw the interaction changing a little bit. We added the phone number, which another thing we didn't put on the email to begin with. We added the phone number directly to the email. So you could see how this sequence evolves over time. And I think it'd be a good idea that we could maybe put together a PDF for the podcast notes that outlines the sequence. We'll make it graphic. We'll graphic it up. We won't take a screenshot of it.
Like a mind map of
Paul
it?
will graphic it up. Is that cool?
We'll make it font.
But anyway, we'll font it up. Anyway, we'll create a document that you guys can download, and you guys can see exactly the sequence that we put people through.
Yeah, and we also, by the way, created a landing page for the email that also directed them to go shop for, different categories of products. But
That's right. No, I totally forgot about the landing page.
We did that afterwards as well, didn't we?
No, I think we did that before we started because, their website was really not up to snuff. It needed something to direct people so they knew, not just to throw them to the homepage and hope they find their way to this certain product that's on sale. We created a nice landing page that was specific for the campaign, and I think that was a big key to it too. Yeah.
So open rates as a whole were about 40%. The click-through rates were 6% total. And the conversion rate, we sent out the email to a very small list. There was like 4,500 people on this list. Okay. We had about a 3% conversion rate. So we had 88 orders, okay, for a product. This is like the crazy part. The products range between $14 and $20.
Yeah, we ended up selling hundreds of labels.
Hundreds of labels. Well, it's a label company. It doesn't matter. And their total revenue, we were blown away by this. Their total revenue was $13,213.88. Now, we told this particular client that you probably won't see any results for 45 days. And within, I think it was like a 2-week period?
Well, we did. The promotion went on for 2 weeks, and the sequence itself ran for 10 days. So people were continuously getting emails. If they didn't open, if they didn't click, they would get different emails. And then we ran on the last day of the sale, 2 weeks after it started, we ran one last blast.
I think it got 10 orders or something.
I think we were right below 10 grand before the last email went out, and ended at 13. So we got like $3,000 worth of orders on that last push.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, like a good point. It's like when you send out emails for a specific offer, and we've spoken about this before, actually one of the 5 keys, by the way, that we forgot to mention is frequency, right? It's like how many times do you hit these people? A lot of people will send an offer out once and then like forget about it, right? But, I mean, there's so many opportunities. Like, there are people who didn't open the email. Like, they didn't see it, obviously. Send another one with a different subject line. Then there are people who open the email but don't click. Send them a different email, different subject line, different creative, or different email. Entirely. There's a lot of opportunity to follow up with these people.
Yeah, who knows when you're hitting these people? They could open it. You could see them open it. But then they're in the middle of something. They're having dinner, or they're sitting, they're busy or at work or something. So they don't have time to click over. So to send them another one, because they're going to forget about that other one after they opened it. It's gone. It's red. So they're not going to see it again. So the frequency, again, is very important.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's nice that you don't have, like, that you just automatically send these things, right? Like, and that's the beauty of automation, I don't think everything should be automation at all times. The last email that we sent on the Monday that the offer was going to be over was not an automated email. It was a, what was it called?
It was just a campaign. It was a little one-off campaign.
Yeah, one-off campaign. I just lost. I don't know why. I couldn't think about that. But that wasn't part of the automation. And that one we sent to everybody. And by the way, one thing... that, like, as we're talking this through, man, like, there are so many little things that we did. Like, that last email, we told everybody, like, look, even if you purchased already, there's no limit. Buy as much as you want. Yeah. Like, I mean, think about that, right? Like, if people purchased already, they're already buyers of that particular offer, and you hit them 10 days later, maybe...
Yeah,
maybe.
And we always kept, and that's another thing. We always kept the scarcity intact too, especially in the last one. It ends today. This is it. Right. You're gonna miss it if you don't get it now. And throughout the whole sequence, we kept that in line too. It ends here. It ends here. It ends here.
That's another key. Yeah,
scarcity.
When is it gonna end? And it has to end that day. That's another thing. But the point is like, Kev, when we talk about these things that we've done, and like with our clients, sometimes we take for granted really like the things that we do like naturally,
Yeah.
And this particular email sequence, I feel like fell into place so nicely for us that it just really, I think, solidifies the fact that the strategies work, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And this is why we're so into email right now. If you've listened to our podcast, the last 3 or 4 emails, the last 3 or 4 episodes
you have a tough time with the word episodes.
Yeah, I know. I got to work on that.
Right.
I got to study. Got to go to my speech coach. Anyway, the last 3 or 4 episodes have been about email because we're so excited about it. And we want you guys to get involved.
And we've been doing it for a long time, but it's this podcast has really opened up another avenue for us to kind of talk about it. And we're just really excited about it right now. And, we're getting a lot of good results too with Facebook. Let's also, I want to just say that it's like we have some clients that are really, killing it for what they're spending on Facebook. But man, the return, like this client almost paid for us for
several months. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and it's good. Like Jason said, Facebook is still really a great tool. But email, I feel like, is a really great place to start. Get the revenue flowing, get some money in, and then you can use Facebook on the back end to just build that list and go back to email. So I think it's a really good strategy, and we've talked about it a lot here. What's the best thing to sell our services on first? To get people in, get people enthusiastic, and then
excited, and then get them results.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest thing. We need to get people results. And part of that, though, is working with the right people.
Right.
I mean, the truth is we can't help everybody, but
this client, I think we usually say, we need 3 months. We just need time. This isn't going to be an immediate thing.
That's Facebook for sure.
Yeah, but it's funny. She came back to be like, oh, okay, we were thinking more of like a 6-month plan. We're like, oh, all right.
6 months. But now they actually have another business that they're considering doing the same thing for. But anyway, that's our case study. So if you're not doing email, and your sales are struggling, and you have an email list, I would, that's where I would start. It's like, get email. It's how we get the quickest results for our clients. It works so well, and really, aside from the return, there's it's really low investment, right? It's not a lot of time to do this stuff, right? Like you can use the same creative over and over, just add some, lines of text in each of the emails so that it ties in with your subject line, another key.
And the email software is not a huge expense. I think it's like $70 a month, I think, or something like that. It's like,
and they paid $70. They paid our fee, and they made over $13,000 from one email.
Yeah, this is really exciting.
One email, one offer.
Yeah, and we'll continue on, and we'll update you guys on the progress of their campaign, and we'll talk about it more as the podcast goes on. But I think we're really excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, guys, so we'll put all the podcast notes up, and we'll also outline that automation so you guys can take it and use it. I think it's really going to be useful for you if you just take it and duplicate it, use it.
Right.
Anyways, this has been episode 49. If you guys really love what you're hearing, if you're getting a lot of use out of it, if it's helping you, if you wouldn't mind going on to iTunes or Stitcher. Is there anything else? Anywhere else we can give it to a review?
No,
iTunes or Stitcher, just jump on there, give us a rating review. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. It's been episode 49. Take it easy.
Later.